All right, guys, how's it going? Now, before I get into this video, I just want to let you know that I'll be live on here at 1 o'clock and 6 o'clock UK time today if you want to come along and have a natter. All right, I've just recorded my morning briefing. That's available on my other YouTube channel. I'm talking about Fabrizio Romano in that video and a few other things. It's youtube.com/Duncan Alden. The link is in the description to this video, to that channel. And also my mug will pop up on the screen at the end of this video if you want to come over there. On that channel I do my acknowledgements, I tell you about the day's schedule, we talk Liverpool, we talk Cop Talk, we talk me, that's it, right? And you, of course, as well. It's more of the community channel, that, all right? So in this video we're going to be talking about this man who I have defended actually in the last day or so. But defended bits where there's been some things posted about him that's been unfair and fake. Not defending anything where he shouldn't be defended, if that makes sense. So, and I think when we get through this video today, there'll be a bit of criticism aimed at him from me. But I'm not flip-flopping with my opinions. I will still stick to defending people when people are saying things that are not true, or posting things that are fake, right? So we're just going to focus on factual things, right? Or things that we believe to be true, to the best of our knowledge. Now, I've been to the cafe today, thanks to you guys that support me. And I didn't go yesterday. It's my normal daily routine. I go to the cafe in the morning, I review the Spanish papers for you to see if there's anything to do with Liverpool. And there has been a lot of that over the last year. And I didn't go yesterday. I don't know why, really. Maybe I just don't think I felt like it with everything that's been going on. But I went today. And today's papers are dominated with coverage to do with Luis Díaz, Liverpool, Barcelona, Bayern Munich. And what I'm going to do with this video is I'm going to give you a quick summary of what each newspaper says. For those of you that haven't got a lot of time and patience, I'm going to quickly tell you what they all say, and then give you, my opinions and a little bit more, maybe for those of you that want to hang around, right? So I just want to give you an idea of what we're going to be talking about. So this is Marca. This is the pro Real Madrid newspaper, if you like, based in Madrid. They're chiming in on it today. We have AS or AS. Which is the other Madrid newspaper, well, Real Madrid, biased newspaper, whatever. They're chiming in on the situation today. More importantly is Sport, which is the pro-Barcelona newspaper. This one is the one that you should pay more attention to than any of them. This is the closest one at the present time, if you like, to Deco, the sporting director there, Laporta. And as you can see, they've dedicated pages 2 and 3 to him. So I'm going to go over all of this with you. And then finally, there is Mundo Deportivo with this here, which is basically danger Bayern or Bayern warning kind of headline regarding their interests. Again, this is a Barcelona newspaper, not quite as good as Sport, I feel. But still worth, covering, if you like. So I'm not gonna bother like jumping around all the different screens. I'm just gonna leave one of these on in the background, and I will go through what we have. All right, guys, and I think you might find it a little bit interesting. Let's pull this in a little bit, right? Okay, so Marca. Basically their headline was it's up to Luis Díaz to make the next move. That's basically what it means when it's translated. Basically meaning the ball's now in his court. We've heard this before with Barcelona's interest in Luis Díaz. In other words, he needs to put pressure on Liverpool to try and make something happen. Marca says as follows. These are just some key points. I'm not going to read the article out to you. Barcelona have switched their focus to Luis Díaz and Marcus Rashford after missing out on Nico Williams. Liverpool recently refused to even listen to Bayern Munich's offer for Díaz. Barca are waiting for Díaz to make the next move by telling Arne Slot he wants to leave. His agent is also expected to speak to Liverpool's board and request a transfer. The tragic death of Jota makes this a delicate moment emotionally and tactically. Slot is unlikely to easily accept Díaz leaving. It's not expected to be a fast or easy deal. Liverpool's asking price is around 80 million euros. Díaz hasn't ruled out Bayern. Reports in Germany suggest he's open to a move if they offer that fee. That was Marca. AS. They go with the headline, Luis Díaz also adds conditions. Now, this is to do with, well, I'll get to it, point two. Barca are working with Díaz's agents on a draft contract in case Liverpool are open to a sale. Unlike Nico Williams, Díaz won't demand a release clause, but he does want compensation if Barca fail to register him by the 31st of August. Hence the headline, Luis Díaz also adds conditions. But Nico Williams wanted, far greater freedom. Like if they can't register him in a certain time, he would be free to leave and stuff like that, which Barcelona were never going to have. Díaz more laid back, won't demand a release clause, but will want compensating financially if he can't play, basically. This clause would guarantee him money if he can't play, rather than give him an escape route, which is what Nico Williams wanted, and that's why that deal fell through. Whether Barca will accept this clause is unclear, but talks are progressing. Deco has wanted Díaz for a long time. He sees him as a perfect fit. Díaz is frustrated with Liverpool not improving his contract, but the death of Jota complicates things. Bayern Munich are pushing hard. Saudi clubs are also interested, though likely to make their moves later in the window. If Barca accept the compensation clause, it means the deal is getting close, but financial complications remain. So that's the views from Madrid, all right? I'm more interested in what Sport has to say, to be honest with you, and Mundo Deportivo. So Sport go with the headline, Luis Díaz activates exit plan. Díaz returns to Liverpool today, still grieving after Jota's passing. He wants to leave this summer. He drew criticism for appearing in a casual YouTube match back in Colombia during the mourning period. His agency, AS1, is expected to begin talks with Liverpool immediately. Díaz's contract runs till 2027, but staying now would risk a long transfer saga next year. After missing out on Nico Williams, Díaz has jumped to the top of Barca's shortlist. Sport say he's already given Barca the green light, but Liverpool want 80 to 90 million euros, which is too high for Barca. Marcus Rashford is being kept in mind as a backup option. Díaz may use a formal transfer request to push the move, a tactic used in the past by players like Ronaldo. Bayern are still in the race and could outbid Barca, but Díaz reportedly prefers the Camp Nou. I think everybody knows he wants to go to Barca, right? Another article in Sport was headlined, "The winger gives the okay to sign for Bayern." Bild claimed that Díaz has given the green light to Bayern and already agreed personal terms. Bayern now begin talks with Liverpool, expecting the fee to be above 70 million euros. He's now Bayern's main target after missing out on Wirtz and Nico Williams. Díaz earns just 4 million euros a year at Liverpool and hasn't received a contract renewal offer. Bayern believe they can beat Barca to the signing by offering better wages and moving fast. I don't believe that, personally. Barca remain interested, but concerns exist over cost, age and wage structure. Bayern's aggressive move is a major threat to Barca's hopes. Mundo Deportivo, the other Barcelona newspaper, the headline, Bayern threat. Bayern are going all in for Díaz. Bild claim a verbal agreement is already in place between Díaz and Bayern. We've seen, claims from Germany saying that personal terms are agreed. That's what the agent does, right? So like an agent goes around and tries to agree personal terms or whatever with multiple clubs. It doesn't mean anything. He can't join all of the clubs when a player agrees personal terms with them. And the agent can agree terms with who the fuck he wants. But if Liverpool don't get what they want, it won't happen anyway. Barca say they're unaware of this, the developments with Bayern, and insist he's still their number one target. Liverpool are reluctant to sell, especially after the tragic loss of Jota. Díaz has made it clear he wants a new challenge. If Liverpool sell now, they get maximum value. Next year it drops, and in 2 years he's free. Bayern's interest is real and backed with money. Despite all of this, Díaz still dreams of playing for Barcelona. Timing will be crucial. The player is expected to speak openly with Liverpool very soon. Mundo Deportivo, again. Today he returns to red discipline. Luis Díaz has returned to Liverpool after his summer break in Barranquilla. He begins pre-season training today, a key moment for his future. Reports suggest he will formally ask to leave and make his dream move to Barca. Bayern are very much in the race and could offer better terms. In an interview with a Colombian YouTuber, Díaz said, "We're already in talks with the club, Liverpool, and with all the people reaching out. We'll see what happens and try to make the best decision. I'm very calm and very happy where I am. And I repeat, now is the time to make the best decision." The interview took place around the same time as Jota's funeral, raising questions about timing and respect. And his return to Merseyside could mark the start of serious movement. So, that's basically what all of those rags are saying, right? Some duplications in there, similar things, some things there that we've heard, many times before. But I think the new bits that we're hearing here really is that it would appear that the agent is letting it be known that he's about to step things up with Liverpool. The agent is, in my opinion, from reading all of this today, and obviously I've had the beauty of reading all the articles, and I was left with the opinion that the agent is behind what we're seeing, and he's basically saying, well, I'm about to knock on Liverpool's door and push for a move for my client. So if you want to log off now, that's basically everything covered there, right? I'm just going to go into some notes that I took, having reviewed all of these. And I've put here, I have defended Díaz from unfair lies on social media, including a video that's over a year old. But I won't defend him when he doesn't need defending or doesn't deserve to be defended. To answer a question about his future on the same day as Jota's funeral was extremely poor form. A simple, now is not the time would have sufficed. I'm very surprised with that, to be honest with you. You guys that comment on my videos and have commented on my videos for a long time, the more you comment, the more I remember you, your username and your stories, your background and things like that. And if something happened to someone from within this community and they passed away, and people would come on the live streams and say, I can't believe X has died, blah, 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 what are you going to do with this and that? My response at that point would be, listen, I can't even think about that right now. Let's talk about it later. And that's, someone probably that I haven't met. The majority of people on here I haven't met, right? But I still have a form of attachment to people. It might be a username, but behind a username is a real person. And people come on here and leave me nice comments or to buy me a coffee or to support me, whatever, right? They participate. And when those usernames maybe disappear for a while, I worry. I always say, please do check in with us so we know you're all right. And if you comment on my videos, I don't see you at work every day. We don't hang out together. We have no other, association or connection other than through the channel, right? But if someone said, oh, I see Uzic's died, so what are you going to do about this video? Are you doing a live stream tomorrow? I'd be like, I can't talk about them things now, mate. So I'm really surprised that when asked about his future, that he came out with that. Because I think he should have come out and gone, now is not the time really to talk. Could you not leave it a day or two? Do you know what I mean? And I'm not trying to stick the knife in him. There's people online that are trying to do that. Not really people. I've seen more criticism coming at him from other countries, really. I just think it was poor form, to be honest with you. I've put here, I believe Liverpool will be furious about the timing of those comments. He can't control the media, but he absolutely controls what he says, right? So if you see multiple reports, Luis Díaz is going to do that, do this, it's like, you can't be too angry because it's like, well, how do we know some of it's true, what isn't? But when it's his own words and the timing of those words, then you can be critical. And I don't think Liverpool will be very impressed, to be honest with you. It's obvious to me that his agent is carrying on as usual. Nothing wrong with that in theory, but do it quietly, not through the press work in the background for a bit. Bayern are clearly his plan B if Barca don't pay up. And, you know, I don't see Barca paying the full value. So I think the Bayern stuff that you're seeing when it's like, oh, he wants to go there. Like some people come and say, oh, no, he wants to go to Barca, to Bayern. I'm like, no, what I think's happening here, guys, is his dream move is Barcelona. And now he's in a situation where, oh, Bayern are interested, so I'm going to keep them open as well. His agent will be doing the talking, hence the claims of agreeing personal terms. So in other words, Bayern have said, all right, yeah, we'll pay this, we'll pay that. That's why you're hearing personal terms agreed. Doesn't mean anything really yet. And if Barcelona doesn't become a reality, then he has the option of going there, and people might even say Saudi. So, you know, there's no way in a million years, in my opinion, does Luis Díaz reject Barcelona if he can go there, right? With Jota gone, I think Liverpool would usually say no to selling Díaz, right? If that was, you know, another player at the moment, or it's hard to explain this. Because Jota's gone, I think Liverpool would be like, look, you know, we can't sell Díaz maybe. But because of what we're seeing, I think Liverpool might think they have to get rid. Because I think there's a little problem brewing here. And I think it was maybe brewing prior to the tragic events of last week. And I think Liverpool will be like, you know, keeping Díaz, an unhappy player. I know sometimes supporters say, just do this, put him in the reserves, bench him, make him fucking, you know. It's not, in reality, you've got an asset, and it's how that rubs off on people. If you're disappointed with something you might have read, all right, if like, not the speculation, not the claims, but if you've read his comments, maybe there's, you know, some people aren't bothered by that, but that could apply to other players in the squad at the club, people that were close to Jota. You know, people could be like, did you see what that fucking shithead said? You don't know. I don't know whether that's the case or not. I'm saying that could be the case, and I think that would be the case in you know, if I worked in a factory and one of the lads had died or something like that, and someone was like, you know, just not maybe behaving as you thought they might, I'm sure there'd be some people that would resent that. Some people might be like, no, whatever. But some people are like, no, fuck off, man. You know, Mick was my mate. You know, so I think there's a little problem here brewing, guys. I do. I do. And if you think about it, it was starting before the tragedy, right? Because that, I can't remember that reporter's name, Sierra. Do you remember Sierra? I called him Ford Sierra because I couldn't pronounce his first name. It was Pipi or I can't remember. Ford Sierra, right? He came out, didn't he? Was it maybe a week ago, saying he's angry with Liverpool, give him better deal, more money, or sell it. It was kicking off, right? And that journalist would be one that I would listen to regarding vibes coming from Díaz. So it was kicking off. He was angry, right? And it sounds like he's still angry. People defend his low wages. You know, local media has recently rubbished that and said, hang on, he's on 140 grand a week. But whatever he's on, he signed the fucking deal. He signed the contract. You know, if you're not happy, then don't sign a deal. You know, let's not forget, I've put here, he and his dad have been flirting with Barca for a year. This isn't about wages. People defend and say, oh, you know, he deserves to be paid more. Deserves to be paid more. He spent the last year, and his dad as well, you know, flirting with Barca. You got a dream to go and play for another club. I ain't got a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. But then, like, you can't then use it as give me more money. You know, like, show some, I don't know about loyalty in football. It's very difficult. But just show you're bothered, you know. And I think him and his father have been disrespectful to Liverpool. And now it's like, you know, what would you do if you were Richard Hughes or Edwards and you got a player that you know don't want to play for you, has been causing problems, you know, in terms of flirting with another club and coming out publicly and saying, oh, we're talking to other clubs while still under contract with Liverpool, and then coming back and saying, well, I want more money or sell me. How would you deal with that? I know I'd deal with that. I'd be like, well, you know what? You can fuck right off. Did you not notice a sudden change in the reporting? It came from, I don't know if it was, I assume it was Joyce. I don't know. Please forgive me if I'm wrong. But, you know, one of the journalists that we would listen to, Joyce or Ornstein, came out and said, Liverpool, they're not even going to offer him a deal now. In other words, like, no, you can sit out, you're going to stay on what you're on for the next 2 years and you can go on a free, because it saves them money in the long run if you think about it. Because if they have to get a replacement, that replacement might want 100 grand extra a week or whatever, a signing on fee, a transfer fee. So why did Liverpool suddenly have that change in, you know, it sounded like they were like, you know what, we're fucking sick of you. And you can understand why. Because all this stuff, we know papers, newspapers, shit stir and speculate and whatever, but they've been spot on. They have. I think they have. So Barca was set on Nico Williams. That falls through. Because if you think about it, Barca were wanting Nico Williams. That we know that all changed, right? So at that point, that's when Díaz allegedly or appears to have spat his dummy out and said via that journalist Ford Sierra, I want more money or I'm off. All right. And all of that happened because he didn't get his dream move, or it looked like he'd lost his dream move. But obviously the Nico Williams situation collapsed, which reopened the door for Díaz. Someone said in one of the comments the other day, well, hang on, he said he recently wanted to stay at Liverpool. Oh, he did. He did say that. This is someone defending him. No, I don't. He said he wanted to stay at Liverpool. Yeah, he did. And he said that on the very day that Barcelona lost their 1-1 financial status, if you like, which basically meant it looked like his move to them was off at that point. And suddenly, when it went 1-1, it went to 1-4, when they lost that, he said, oh, no, I'm happy at Liverpool, by the way. I don't trust this. He's getting right on my tits, guys, to be honest with you. Twice, he's openly admitted to being in talks with other clubs while under contract. In nearly 30 years of running Cop Talk, right, 27 to be precise, I don't recall ever seeing a player do that. Maybe I'm wrong, my memory's crap, as you know, but still it doesn't sit right with me. So you've got a player saying, yeah, I'm talking to other clubs, seeing what's what, but you better give me more money. Nah, fuck that. I can defend untruths I've put here at the end of my notes, but I can't defend open factual disrespect. And, you know, fuck him. As far as I'm concerned, he can go. Honestly, I've lost patience with him. I have. I'll still defend him when people are saying things that you know, are unfair, because that's who I am. I'm like that about anyone in life, you know. So criticise when it's due, but, you know, don't lie, don't exaggerate. And I know my video is probably not a very good video. You know, I'm not on form myself at the moment with it all. And I'm sorry that my aircon's on in the background, if you can hear a fan in the background. But no, I've had enough of it. I've had enough of it. And I think there's a lot. I just think that I think it was starting before what happened to Jota, God bless him. I do. And I hope Liverpool fucking get rid of him. And you know what? People have defended him, or trying to defend him. One of the biggest comment I've seen about Díaz for weeks is, well, there's no wonder he wants to leave. He's so poorly paid. So poorly paid. But that's never been the reason that he wanted out in the first place. Because if you had a really good player that gave his all, was committed to the club, and you felt that he was undervalued, all of us would be defending him, wouldn't we? Saying, hang on a minute, this is typical fucking FSG. Give him his dues, all right? But it hasn't been that. This is a player who wants to play for another club. But if he doesn't get his dream move, well, you better give me more money. And he's now angry with Liverpool prior to the tragic events of last week, because his dream move appeared to have fallen through because of Nico Williams. Now it's back on and he wants to go there, mark my words. But the agent's got the plan B going with Bayern. So previously I used to think, oh no, it's Barcelona or Liverpool, you know, That's his dream move, and let him have it. If that's what he's always wanted to do since he was a young boy, who are we to say, no, that's not right? No, as long as you conduct yourself fairly, you know, and you're honest, you know, I ain't got a problem with that. Ever. Never got a problem with that. And I don't think the club had either. I think the club would be like, look, we're not going to stand in the way of someone that wants to fulfill their dreams, but we get what we're entitled to, and that's the way it has to roll, you know? But, nah, fuck him. You know, the club, when you think about the club and the players, how they were when his old man got kidnapped and all that, you know, it's like, show us a bit of respect. Show us a bit of respect. You can't stop the papers speculating. But if I was Luis Díaz now, right, one, I'd be, at the current time, certainly on the day of the fucking funeral, I would be saying, like, I ain't answering that. You know, like, what is wrong with you? You know, no, I'll talk about, you know, there's more pressing things right now. That would have been what I would have said. And if my agent was going on making all these noises, which is why we're seeing the additional stuff, this is the stuff in Germany, right? Because we know these papers have been at it for ages with him. But if I was starting to see, you know, stuff coming out that's clearly coming from his agent, and some of it in the Spanish papers today about the agent is now going to go and knock on the door and say, right, we want to make something happen, we're going to make it happen. The fact that it's circulating around the newspapers, I'd be saying to my agent, saying, look, I know we've got to deal with this, but you need to just keep it low key for a few days. Let's just, you know, I'll defend him when it's due, but not what. Nah, fuck that. I want rid. I do. I don't want a player to stay at Liverpool that don't want to be at Liverpool, or it's the plan B because a move to Barcelona fell through. Oh, I'll stay here then, but you're gonna have to give me more money, or I'm off to Barca. I hope Richard Hughes and Michael Edwards tell him and his agent to go and fuck themselves. To be honest with you, I really do, and I hope we maximise it. And you know what? If Liverpool dig in and say, no, you're not going, well, you know, you can fuck right off, right? It's 80 million euros or you fucking stay. And you'll stay on your wage and you'll stay. The only thing is with that, you then got someone that don't want to be with you. How are other players going to take to it? Yeah, I think it's a tricky situation. Anyway, I don't know if I've expressed things correctly in this video. I've tried to give you a summary of what's been said here. Just to hammer home the new message, I think, in all of the publications today was that the agent is ready to knock on the door and say, right, we're off. You need to get that figure down, right? With the suggestion that maybe Luis Díaz will submit a formal transfer request. So I think it's going to get a bit spicy. I'll keep an eye on it for you. I'm watching it all the time, guys, all right? The buying stuff, remember, yes, I think that's like a possible option for him. But I don't believe any reports that are saying, oh, he's told me he wants to go and play there. He's not going to leave Barcelona for them. But if Barcelona aren't willing to pay the fee and Liverpool can get the money from Bayern, then that's the only way I see it happening. All right, guys? I'll leave it with you. Wow, it's almost time to go live on here, and I've got a lot more content coming up for you today, all right? I hope you're okay. Hope you can join me today, 1 and 6. If you found the video remotely interesting, please thumbs up the video. Your feedback, as ever, is always really appreciated. I love your comments, I do. It's the best thing about here. If you want to support the channel, there's a love out under the video. You can join the channel. You know, this is all I do. I don't clickbait you, I don't sell you ball shaving products, I don't mug you off. I only make videos about stuff that I think you might find of interest. And that's a good way of supporting me through the thanks button or whatever under the videos or the channel membership, whatever. But what you can do, right, because you might not be in a position to do that, you might not want to do that, is you can leave a nice little comment, yeah? You're appreciated around these parts, and even if you haven't got time to comment, you can thumbs up the video. I don't think it makes any fucking difference, any of that, to be honest with you. But it's what all the kids say. All right, guys, what do you think? Where are you with it? Where are you with it? You know? We can't say that he's that he's feeling this way or that way, or how maybe he should or shouldn't react personally about, you know, the passing of a teammate or anything. Or we can't turn around and say, well, he's not bothered. It's not fair to say that, I don't think. But we can step up and say, hang on a minute, you could have said now is not the time to discuss my future. Your agent's clearly working in the background and he's fully entitled to do that, no doubt about it. But these little, you know, bits that are finding their way into the press, the agent could shut his mouth for a few days and then we could be left just to read speculation, and I could say to you guys, nah, this is just the same speculation we always see. But the suggestion today here in Spain is that they're about to try it on with Liverpool. All right, and as you know, for weeks and weeks and weeks, Barcelona have been saying, before the Nico Williams thing, you need to step it up a gear, and they didn't. But it sounds like they're going to try it on, so listen out for that. I'll check everything tomorrow for you, and if there's anything new, I will let you know. All right, guys, I'll speak to you in a bit.